All of shots fired. The initial information was that there was a male subject armed with a handgun that was firing at a woman and children at the residence also. So we arrived on scene and found 2 victims suffering from various injuries. It's been determined that there is a 34-year-old female that suffered gunshot wounds. She's been transported for treatment at an area hospital. There's also a 35-year-old male who suffered a knife wound during this incident, and he's also been transported to an area hospital where he's being treated. So,
are either one of those who were injured considered a suspect, or both potentially, or is there someone, a third party we're looking for?
There's nobody outstanding at this time. That means everybody that was involved in this incident is either in custody or hospitalized right now, or working with investigators right now trying to figure out the rest of it. There were numerous, I'm going to wait for just a minute, excuse me.
Thank you.
There were numerous children on scene as well, and we're trying to process through those. Fortunately, none of the children were injured during this incident, and they're all safely with detectives right now and being reunited with family members as I speak. So.
How many suspects were there?
Well, we're still working to figure that all out. I can tell you that there was initial information that a male was armed with a handgun and was shooting at multiple people. This is all a domestic family relationship. All the people here are known to each other. There's nobody outstanding at this point. In other words, there's no suspects who left the scene. Everybody has been accounted for, and we're working with them now.
How many children were in the scene?
There's a lot of children there. I believe we have approximately 5 kids that are there. Like I said, it's still a chaotic scene. We're trying to work on figure all that information out right now. So,
are you able to tell us the relationship between the suspect in custody and the 2 injured?
Right now, I can tell you it's a male and wife domestic situation. The female who was injured with gunshot wounds is the wife of the male. The male that was injured is the husband of the wife, and he received stabbing or knife wounds.
And those are the only 2 adults in this situation?
That's correct.
So the 2 victims are married to each other?
I believe they're married, yes. They're the domestic partners in the home. I believe they're husband and wife.
The 34-year-old woman, she's the owner of the home, correct?
I don't have that information in front of me.
Is the home where this incident happened also the home where the suspect was apprehended and taken into custody, or was there any chase involved?
There was no chase involved initially. There was two victims that were treated at the home here. Two people who received injuries. So we're trying to establish how the injuries were, how they got those injuries. And it's too early for me to give that answer right now. So I'm not going to go more into that. So
where was the male stabbed?
Right now, he's dealing with stab wounds to the upper torso, and the female is dealing with multiple gunshot wounds. They're being treated for that.
To clarify, the kids are all okay, right? No one injured?
No, none of the children are injured, and like I said, I believe there was 5 children on scene.
Had this location been known to law enforcement? Have you come to this location before?
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me right now.
Where's the gun?
Where's the gun?
Yeah, has that been secured?
I'm not going to go into that right now, thank you.
Was the gun legally owned, do you know?
No, ma'am. We're in the middle of a chaotic scene and a thorough, detailed investigation, and I don't have all those answers a couple hours into it. So those will come in the days and weeks ahead as we put this together and try to figure out what happened. The only way I know to do things is to have a complete, thorough, detailed investigation, and that way we get the answers that we need for everybody and we get the answers for the family. So right now our main focus is the children who were involved in this and saw something very traumatic with their parents, and also those grievous injuries to the parents, trying to get them treated medically, and then we'll figure out everything else later. So I don't have some of those questions that you're asking right now.
And forgive me if this is already said, but 1 suspect has been arrested, correct?
We're working with numerous people right now. There was like I say, over a half dozen people at the scene, so we're trying to piece all that together still here. Both of the adults, the ones that received injuries, are at the hospital right now, okay? And we're trying to, like I say, those interviews are all still pending, so I don't have all those answers for you guys right now.
How many agencies were here on scene to help out with this?
The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office plus fire and ambulance services.
Are you able to tell us how many arrests have been made?
There's been no arrests made at this point. We're trying to piece things together and figure out who did what. So we're still in the midst of that, guys. This is just an early preliminary update for you. I don't have all those answers, but like I said, we'll have them in the days and weeks ahead. We're piecing it all together as we speak. So people are still being treated medically. People are still in the midst of interviews right now, and I just don't have all those answers for you right now.
You may not know it, but is this a blended family? Are all these kids like directly related to both parents, or are they all kind of step kids?
No, I don't have that information. It's not relevant at this point to the investigation as far as what happened that led up to shots being fired. So like I said, the initial information we had is that a male was armed with a handgun and was shooting at a woman and children. Fortunately, it doesn't appear that any of those children were struck. And then we got here to find a female suffering from gunshot wounds and a male suffering from stab wounds. And we're piecing it all together from there.
So when law enforcement arrived, none of the adults were armed at that point?
They were injured, grievously injured. So, I don't know what you mean if they're armed. They were taken into custody and they were taken for treatment at that time at the same time. So they're right now currently at the hospital. So
I guess to clarify, I'm wondering, did law enforcement have to disarm them when arriving?
No, we provided medical treatment when we arrived.
Do you know who called dispatch? Was it one of the victims or potential suspects
No,
here?
I believe it was someone else in the area, a neighbor or passerby who had seen the incident taking place.
Seeing the incident taking place, does that mean it was outside the home?
Right, yes. The initial information was that a male had come outside armed with a handgun shooting.
When you arrived on scene, you told us, hey, I'll be back in 15 minutes. Let me just learn a few details. You were out on scene for more than an hour. How would you describe just the nature of this incident and everything that's happened?
Well, I would say, when you have a situation like this and you have that many people involved, it can be difficult. They're all either suspects, victims, or witnesses. And so our job is to try to figure out which is which, while still being concerned with the welfare of those children and the welfare of those people who are injured. So what I learned during that time is that this is all a domestic incident. It's not a stranger type situation or someone from outside the home. It's a domestic type incident. There's numerous children involved. Like I said, I believe there's 5 or 6 kids up there. And we're trying to get them the resources that they need. That can be very cumbersome. And then also talking to everybody to figure out what's going on, while diverting resources as well to the people who are hospitalized right now to try to figure what their status is. So I can tell you that they were seriously injured and that they're in the hospital. My last report, everyone was still alive, and we're trying to learn more as we go here.
Where are the children right now?
They're with investigators, being reunited with family.
I'm sorry, I have a couple more
okay.
questions. You did clarify she was shot twice?
I don't have, at least twice, I would say.
Okay.
I don't have the exact number of gunshot wounds right now.
Did the male suffer gunshot wounds and the stab wound, or he's stab wound and she's gunshot wound?
We believe that he is stab wound, knife wound, and she is gunshot wound.
Okay. And then when he was outside, was there ever any other outstanding threat to the public, or was she his intended victim the whole time?
We're still piecing that all together. I can tell you that we had reports that he was shooting at multiple people in the home, and not just her. So it sounds like a domestic-related incident.
How common is domestic-related incidents for Ottawa County? I mean, we're constantly reporting on it, but are these common things for you guys?
Well, unfortunately, it's one of our main calls that we respond to, and so people get very emotional about their relationships, and domestic relationships are difficult situations. So. Very common. I don't have how many times we've dealt with this family, or if we have, I don't know. I don't have that. But yes, a lot of our homicides that we investigate are serious shootings or stabbings. Unfortunately, strangulations are domestic related. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
So these are serious injuries that they both sustained.
Correct.
When you have situations like this with children, do you have special responders?
Yeah, so all of our investigators, that's a good question, thank you. All of our detectives are forensically trained to forensic interview children. It's a special way of talking to them without leading questions and that type of thing. We also have a very close relationship with the Children's Advocacy Center, which can perform forensic interviews there and is more set up for child interviews, so that helps. They have a bunch of other resources as well for the follow-up mental health counseling. Our crisis intervention deputy is involved and works closely with mental health, community mental health, which is great as well. And then our victim services unit is here, which is an amazing group of people that help so that the detectives can do detective work, and they handle kids and family and some of the other services for them as well. So thank you for that.
What are going to be your next steps after this?
Well, I'm going to get this update from this phone call that I just missed here, and try to get the latest from what's going on. In something like this, fortunately, that lots of people were able to witness the incident, so it's just trying to piece all those things together and figure out what happened, as well as learning that from the injured parties and figure out who's the victim, who's the suspect, and then get an update on their current status too. So I will probably maybe be available about noon. If you guys want another update, I can respond back here at about noon.
Is the expectation that the male suspect will be arrested after being treated?
From what I know now, that's my expectation, but we don't have all those answers yet, and I'm still waiting to figure that all out. So I should have a better update in about an hour for you, okay?
Thank you.
All right? All right, thank you.